Top of the morning, fight fans. This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Buddy Mcgirt. Of course, the trainer and former two-time champion Buddy Mcgirt says, for you Wilder fans, that Deontay Wilder can beat Tyson Fury if he does this thing. He says, Buddy Mcgirt watched the rematch between Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury, and a thought came to the trainer's mind. Okay, he said, I told my wife in the second round, I said something's not right. Mcgirt said he thought Wilder looked unsteady. His legs were not underneath him. He looked rather flimsy. Wilder would get knocked down in the third and fifth round and was ultimately stopped by Fury in the seventh. Entering the bout, everyone expected an intriguing, evenly matched fight. Instead, it was a one-sided mauling. Okay, Mcgirt, a former two-time champion, as we know, has an acute understanding of what Wilder went through. He says, I've been down that road when you're not good or it's just not your night, Mcgirt said. But something's not working, and at the end of the day, it's okay. I've got to take this for 12 rounds, right? He says that Wilder brought a lot of excitement to the division and in boxing with the one-punch knockout power, Mcgirt said. He can end it at any moment with that punch, no matter if he's up or down. He tries to keep getting that shot in there. As of now, nobody representing Wilder has called Mcgirt to ask for a helping hand, but if that comes, he'll be all ears. He said, here's how Mcgirt would approach training for Wilder ahead of his third fight against Fury. He said, Mcgirt said that Wilder doesn't need too much work to fix what looks like the problem is, okay? He says it's just some minor adjustments, nothing major, Mcgirt said about Deontay Wilder's defense. Just minor things that fighters tend to get away from. There are things I know that can be corrected. He needs to use more of his athleticism. I am going to keep my secrets to myself, but I just going to tell you this. It's little things he needs adjustments on. He makes those adjustments. Nobody is beating him. Okay, he said, I'm not going to answer that one. He said, how about Wilder's tendency to keep his chin high and his left elbow low? He says, I'm not going to answer that one, Mcgirt said with a chuckle. He said, but I think one thing that he does is rely on his power too much. He doesn't set it up like he should. Wow. He says he has two hands, don't he? Mcgirt said with a laugh. So if one doesn't work, he has to use the other. Then put them together until you figure it out. He's got to do different things to disguise the right hand. Wow. Mcgirt said a lot in this article, but let me counterpunch what he said so far. He said anybody can have an off night. He said by the second round something wasn't right. His legs weren't underneath him, and he didn't reveal why. Well, I've answered that question time and time again. Wilder, I don't think, was prepared for the type of fight that was coming at him. We know this. I've gave you my thoughts on this, and I think that Buddy Mcgirt did say something that I've been telling people for the longest about Deontay Wilder. He's a one-handed champion. He's a one-handed fighter. He relies solely on his right hand, okay? I've recently compared him to David Tua. David Tua was a totally different fighter, but David Tua used to only rely on his left hook. When he found out that he could punch with actually both hands, he was a much more dangerous fighter, although the times of him being a champion were over, but he learned how to throw the right hand. You know, Joe Goosen taught him that. You know, so he started implementing the right hand. I think Wilder needs to start throwing the left as he should. Not the left that looked good when he dropped Fury in the 12th round. No, I'm talking about the left to set up the right. Combinations, traps, Those are the things that Buddy Mcgirt was referring to. Wilder, it's a mental thing. If you're so accustomed to knocking people out with a right, you're just a spamming fighter at that point. What I mean by that is you're a fighter that keeps doing the same thing like someone insane, because hopefully eventually it will land, okay? But the problem is Deontay Wilder took too much of a beating and wasn't able to apply or connect with that right hand that he's accustomed to while being mauled, okay, while being beat up, because Tyson Fury was giving him a beating. So while Tyson Fury was successfully implementing his game plan, Deontay Wilder was sitting there trying to see why this right hand isn't landing. And the thing is, it did land. Okay, it landed a couple times. Some grazing shots, maybe not, but it didn't affect Fury the way it's supposed to. But then again, how could it if he didn't have the right structure from up under him? Okay, now Mcgirt basically says it's some minor things, and that's his opinion. Okay, but if he's referring to Wilder being a combination fighter, changing things in his game, if he has confidence in Wilder, so be it. But at the end of the day, Wilder has to learn how to be a fighter or he won't. It's bad to try to teach someone instinctively how to throw punches, because at the end of the day, he's only going to do what he's trained to do, what he practiced to do. You know what I mean? You can't do something else on the pinnacle of the sport and someone's bringing it to you. All Wilder knew is that right hand. And eventually, like I keep telling people, Wilder was going to get beat with the limited offense that he has. The right hand will not always do the trick. And when it didn't do the trick, he had no other tricks. You showed how limited he was as a fighter at that point. Now, what Buddy Mcgirt is saying is inspirational for you Wilder fans. Hey, there's minor things that he can do, little tweaks that he can change himself. And I think he let the cat out of the bag how he holds his chin high, because he's used to being taller than his other opponents. Okay, Fury is an anomaly. Okay, there's not many fighters tall like that in the heavyweight division. Well, taller than him, rather. We had some tall fighters, but normally Deontay Wilder's accustomed to fighting guys. Either he can see the shoulders, he can see everything they can do, and it's easy to see someone shorter throw punches at you because you just have to watch their shoulders. And if he's far enough anyway with that reach, he was never really in harm's way of getting hit with punches unless that guy can fight himself inside. You know what I mean? So a lot of people were hesitant to do that because of that power right hand. Okay. Now listen to what else Buddy had to say. He said the key is this. You tell a fighter something, you've got to be able to show them and tell them why, Mcgirt said. Most guys in boxing can't do that. I mean, they can tell a guy what to do, but if the fighter tells them why and he looks at him, what's he going to say? If you've never been in there, never done it, I'm sorry. I don't care what anybody says. If you haven't been in the ring, you can say it, but you can't do it and you can't teach it. If you haven't been in the trenches as a fighter, okay, and you look at your guy and he's in the trenches, how the hell are you going to tell him how to survive? Wow. Those are the words, or more words, from Buddy Mcgirt. And Buddy, of course, is the two-time champion, so he's been in wars. He's been in defeats, but he's been in situations where he had to survive. And if you can tell, if you notice anything about the second fight with those guys, Wilder didn't know. Wilder showed that he was tough, but Wilder didn't show any defense. He was tough, he was taking punishment, but that was it. And that wasn't fair to him or his corner there or anybody, okay? Because he wasn't showing anybody anything. You wouldn't want to see a guy beat the hell out of another guy and the other guy doesn't even know how to defend. I felt bad for him because he was caught and put in a position that he's never been. And thinking of someone that may be in a particular, may be in a position like that would be Triple G one day. Okay, so just, let that seed plant, put some water on it, let the sun hit it, because he's another guy that's used to having so much power, and he relied on his chin and toughness. When he does get in trouble, he won't know how to, innately grab, instinctively. Okay, use his instincts. Hey, I need to grab at this point. You know what I mean? So that was what we saw in that fight. But Buddy Mcgirt, I guess he was talking about JD's, the head trainer. And then it is hard for a trainer that knows how to fight, that turns into a trainer. It's easy for him to criticize JD's because he hasn't been in there. But you know who has? Mark Breeland. So he had him in there, but ironically, it was Mark Breeland that saved him from that hell of a beating. Okay, because he knew Deontay Wilder don't have the specifications. He don't have the experience to go through what he's going through right now. That's why Mark Breeland said it. Now, he didn't say no names because he don't want to be messy, call it integrity or whatever. But he did let you know that it was people on Wilder's team that didn't know what they were doing. And his name is JD. It's the dude that almost killed Deontay Wilder. He could have been seriously hurt in that situation or dead. Okay? Because the guy didn't want him to throw in the towel. Well, obviously, he didn't know how to fight back. He didn't know how to defend himself. He didn't know how to get Tyson Fury off of him. So why would you do that? So I agree with Buddy Mcgirt in that regard. And I know who he was talking about, counterpunching that. He was talking about JD's. So JD's has never fought professionally, doesn't know what it's like to be in the trenches. He doesn't know what it's like to have to survive. He doesn't know what to do. All he could do is sop his blood out of his ear. That's all he did. And prolong the ass whooping of Deontay Wilder when Mark Breeland wanted to throw in the towel. But I think listening to Buddy Mcgirt, listening to everything he said about Deontay Wilder, we're hearing about George Foreman. We're hearing about other guys that could help Deontay Wilder. And Deontay Wilder has, he's been receptive, and he's responded back to George Foreman. I mean, who wasn't? That's George Foreman. It's Big George. Fro or with the bald head. You know what I mean? Anyway, he should also pay attention to Buddy Mcgirt, because he's not saying what he should do. He's keeping that a secret as though it's a selling point, a pitching point, for Deontay maybe to, hey, Deontay, come my way. I'll show you how to beat Tyson Fury. And it's no good trainer like one that knows what he's doing and has confidence in what he's doing. Okay? But anyway, you guys tell me what you think about Buddy Mcgirt. You think Buddy Mcgirt can get Deontay Wilder in shape to beat Tyson Fury? Of course. Leave your comments below. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.